and welcome to the June 1st podcast. My name is Ethan Moriarty, joined today by Connor Moriarty. Connor, how's it going, my guy?
Not bad, not bad. It's been busy, and it's probably going to stay busy. You know how life is.
So, it has definitely been a while. When it comes to the podcast, we haven't really posted any episodes in about
6 months.
8
more.
months. Yeah, the last one was June with Marcus, who we talked to in Lubbock, Texas, during our Chasecation. And the reason why we haven't been making any podcasts, we'll get into it here shortly, but this episode, we're calling it the State of the Junion, if you will. It's that time of year, the beginning of the year, we kind of evaluate where things are at. The actual State of the Union was a couple weeks ago, I think, but we wanted to just kind of touch base, and what better way than to do it with a podcast, because I don't think there's a reason to do it in a video format. We can just kind of discuss what's going on and where things are at with June 1st.
Indeed. So you've basically prefaced it, so why don't we get into it?
Yeah, fair enough. So I guess the first question is, where have we been with the podcast? The last episode, like I said, was uploaded in June, I think. But I would say that the main thing when it comes to where the podcast has been, it's been primarily a reason of where we're focusing our time, particularly with what direction we want to take June 1st in. It seemed like the logical thing right now was to focus on video content. At the time of the last podcast, we were starting to gain a little bit of momentum with the YouTube channel, the June 1st YouTube channel, and it just seemed like the right fit just to kind of focus almost all of the creative energy of June 1st into that, because Connor's a full-time student. I have a full-time job as an engineer, so time that we can spend on June 1st is rather limited as the current capacity stands, I would say.
Yeah, and as YouTube is sort of a way to grow your network specifically, definitely more than a podcast probably could be, it's better to expand it first and then grow with the podcast from there, instead of trying to gain momentum with the podcast, which is sort of tongue-in-cheek way, kind of a not the best way of gaining momentum, as opposed to getting a YouTube platform set up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like that you can't gain momentum with a podcast. I think it's more the medium that we're in terms of, podcasts are great and all, but I think because what we do is such a visually based thing. I mean, it's one thing to talk about storms, right? We love talking about storms and stuff like that, but from what we're trying to do with June 1st, and, obviously we post videos of our chasing content, but also we do a lot of the educational videos as well, with the video essays and that kind of stuff. So it just made more sense to focus on the video stuff, especially since momentum was starting to snowball with the YouTube channel in particular. So it seemed like a good time to kind of put our nose to the grindstone and kind of focus on those kind of things. So obviously the podcast wasn't the only thing that kind of took a back seat in this. I mean, last year, or the year before, 2022, 2021, we had a big focus in our engineering efforts, and that's primarily motivated by my capstone and stuff like that, leaving college my senior year. So, I would love June 1st to be primarily an engineering-based endeavor in terms of a research perspective. Like, that's kind of the original origins of June 1st, but the way what's the word I'm looking for? The way the situation has presented itself, it just isn't feasible to kind of keep hammering away at engineering projects the way we were, given the limited resources we have at this time and limited time particularly. A lot of what we do is self-funded, so the cheaper method of trying to grow June 1st's capabilities was through video creation. Ultimately, that's kind of what we're trying to get back at, and it's it's not easy. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I want to do, but you know, we kind of have to put all our eggs in one basket at a time, I guess, if you will. So that's kind of why, you know, the research side of the June 1st equation and the podcast side of the June 1st equation have taken that kind of backseat, I guess.
Yeah, as I've previously stated, you gotta sort of grow your network first before you can start going ahead with that and starting to work on our engineering and podcasts after that. So we needed to sort of prioritize building our network first and then putting stuff onto that.
Right. Yeah, so that's kind of where we've been with the podcast as well as other things. I mean, looking back at 2022, however, it was a great year for June 1st. You know, let's start with chasing, because I feel like our chase trip this year, 2022, is definitely a step up from the 2021 chasing excursion. The local season, however, I would say lacked. It wasn't as good as some of the prior years, I would say. I mean, 2021 and 2020 particularly were actually pretty good Northeast seasons, I would argue.
Yeah, definitely. We got lucky, or not lucky, but we were fortunate that we started off, or how would I say this? Before we were able to progress onto the Great Plains, we were able to have a lot of good progress in the Northeast. Because now that we're starting to have a step up in the Great Plains, previously our Northeast efforts were really what we could only do.
Right.
And we had some pretty good progress with that. We had August 2nd, May 15th of 2018,
Yep.
August 2nd of 2020.
June 3rd, 21.
Yep.
So yeah, it's like, you know, we've had good days in the Northeast, but you know, this past season, the plains were really the fun trip, and then out of that, we were able to generate the To Hunt a Storm series, which was kind of, I knew that I wanted to really document what we were doing in the plains a lot more. I felt like 2021, it was like we were just getting our feet wet kind of thing with our first real chasing in the plains. So there wasn't really a focus on trying to capture everything, whereas this time around, I knew that I wanted to make something, and I didn't really know what the direction was going to be until I actually started editing, you know, kind of going through the footage and trying to find a narrative out of it, and that's how this To Hunt a Storm series kind of came to be, and I see that continuing into 2023 now. So it was definitely a fun chasing trip, and we covered a lot of ground, saw a lot of great storms, and spent more time out there. And I think this upcoming year too, we're gonna do something very similar in terms of be out there for a couple weeks and document to the best of our ability not only the storms themselves but also our experience, and kind of show, you know, a nice little narrative to kind of tie the trip together. So To Hunt a Storm season 2, I would say, is definitely on the table in that respect.
Definitely. Yeah.
What would you say was your favorite storm from 2022 this year?
Hard to say. I loved all of them. I think I'm going to treat them like children.
I'm trying to think. I would say the New Mexico day was pretty sweet. Just like the low precipitation supercell, that was really cool. June 7th was also a really good day. That was up in the Nebraska, Colorado kind of junction area there over by Ogallala, Julesburg, Colorado, down into Goodland, Kansas by the end of the day. And then also I would say the May 31st day, which was a tornado day in southern Kansas.
Yeah, that high precipitation supercell. Did that produce?
Yeah, it produced a couple tornadoes. So it's like we were on the storm, and you know, from our vantage point, we didn't get the best view of them, but you know, we were there for them. So you know, it was just a good storm and a good chase. It's not like we're out there trying to get, like, obviously tornadoes are amazing and all, but that's not the reason why we're out there. We're there to chase storms, not tornadoes. So we're happy with whatever we can get. If we can get a storm, we're going to enjoy it in some capacity. And the other thing is too, is that we just enjoy being on the road. It's definitely a fun experience, and not everything's about the storms. We met so many great people this past year on the plains as well to continue our friendships and stuff like that, if you will. You know, putting names to faces and stuff like that. So it was really great to kind of, you know, get to meet a lot of the people that we interact with online. So that's always enjoyable.
It's always enjoyable. I've probably said this probably over a year ago now when we did our 2022 review. Really, the community is
2021 review.
Yeah, 2021 review. I'm sorry, but the 2021 review really allowed. What I really took away from that is that the community aspect, the storm chasers themselves, are really what can ground you into chasing storms, and it could really push you further if, say, you're flopping on a chasecation, if you're not getting the best. Just talking to people, seeing the people who enjoy also what you enjoy, it's a beautiful thing, and I can't describe it other than it's a beautiful part of it, and probably one of my most favorite parts of it.
For sure. What was the most memorable part of this year's chasing excursion, would you say? Doesn't have to be, like, obviously I asked what your favorite storm was, but what was the most memorable moment for you?
I have a couple.
One good,
one that's a little, I don't know how to describe it as, but when I got pulled over.
Oh yeah, Connor got if you've watched the To Hunt a Storm series, you know that Connor, while he was driving the vehicle, we got pulled over in Hope, New Mexico, which is a town of like 40 people, and we got pulled over by the only cop in town for rolling through a stop sign. You know, that's the thing, driving a manual transmission car, it's sometimes a pain to come to a full stop. I mean, obviously that's the legal thing to do and the right thing to do, but when you're in a place that's as desolate as Hope, Nebraska, or Hope, New Mexico, there's not many other people around there, that's for sure. So it was a calculated rolling, if you will.
Yeah, I knew it was sort of, I wasn't going to get into an accident. There was nobody really incoming, so
yeah, exactly. It was desolate. Like there was nobody around.
Yeah,
except for that one police officer in the parking lot that we didn't happen to see.
Yeah,
it's crazy too because he was in like a truck.
Yeah,
I didn't realize, like, and then the wigwags came on and stuff, and it was like, what the heck? Like that's a legal police car. It had no markings, no nothing. It was just a truck.
Wait, so at first I was like, did you just call them wigwags?
Yeah, the lights.
You call the lights wigwags?
Yeah, that's what they're called. You know,
I've never heard that.
Like oscillating lights are called wigwags.
I just called them the police lights.
Yeah. Hold on, now I'm gonna look this up on my phone because I don't want to. I'm like 90% sure they're called wigwags. Yeah, wigwag lights. Yeah.
I have never heard that being used in like any sense of the word. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the alternating lights, I guess.
All right.
Yeah. See?
Okay.
Those are wigwags. Anyway, so Connor learned a new definition today.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Probably copyrighted.
Oh, well. So that was entertaining.
Another one that's memorable. The Twistex Memorial site that we also got to saw on May 31st to see it in person.
Yeah, that was the first time that we've had the opportunity to kind of stop in El Reno and, you know, pay our respects to the late Tim Samaras, Paul Samaras, and Carl Jung. Obviously, they played a significant role in my life. If you've paid attention to the June 1st content in the past, you know how much Tim Samaras meant to me, particularly in the sense that he kind of helped shape my career path in terms of me deciding to choose engineering. The big three that influenced me to go the engineering route in weather versus the meteorological route in weather, it's Tim Samaras, Tim Marshall, and Ted Fujita. Those three individuals inspired me to become an engineer in weather. So it was really important to me to pay my respects to them, just given how much influence they've had on my life. I wouldn't be where I am today when it comes to what Tim, Paul, and Carl made for contributions. So, it was definitely surreal. And it was on the 9th anniversary that was the thing. We were there on May 31st, 2022. So that would be the 9th anniversary of their passing. And we were there not long after sunrise in Oklahoma, and just us there and kind of soaking in, the southerly flow that day, as we weren't far from the target area. So it felt like a storm day. And ultimately May 31st was a great chase day. And, I dedicate that day to them.
Yeah. You said it.
So,
would you say 1 year, May 31st, 2023?
I mean, if the setup prevails in such a way that we can be there on that day, then sure. But the setup's in North Dakota. We're gonna be in North Dakota, so
it's the way he probably would have wanted.
Exactly. So, with that said, I'd like to just cap off 2022 with, it was a great year, both in terms of our chasing experiences in the plains, as well as the content creation side that we've been kind of focusing on with the YouTube channel. Moving forward, though, I would say...
Wait, hold on. We didn't get into much detail with our content creation in 2022. How about we talk a little bit about that?
That's a good point. Recently, the June 1st channel just crossed the 1,000 subscriber milestone, which is a pretty important milestone, I would say, in the grand scheme of things. It's something that, every YouTube person kind of looks for. The first 1,000, that's like the first big milestone. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there that have way more of a following and stuff like that. But, to get to 1,000 was pretty meaningful, especially since we've been putting in so much effort to the videos this past year. I've been treating the video creation as like a second part-time job pretty much. Like I dedicate, I would say, the majority of my evenings to making videos. When I get home from work after a long day of work, it's been a grind, to put it lightly, and to kind of see it paying off a bit has been extremely rewarding. We're recording this on the 19th. I have another video coming out today, so that's going to be pretty cool to see the reactions. Everyone's been really enjoying it, which has also been extremely rewarding. Particularly, I mean, I've had a growing fascination for STEM education and STEM advocacy. So that's something that I want to continue to foster with June 1st. It's kind of like a secondary goal that has kind of come out of this. I want to teach people things, and I feel like the videos have been a good way to be both fun and entertaining, while also being informative and educating at the same time.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing that we've started to actually get into, because I don't get into detail of what I usually do during college, but as a sort of part-time-ish job that I do during the while I'm doing my schooling at college, I also do STEM outreach programs. So I'm always a big proponent of advocating for STEM education in any way that you can, because it could really give you so much insight into how the world works, even if you don't go into STEM in a higher education level. Just knowing the basics of it, how to be like an engineer.
Yeah, just how to think in like almost like a scientific mindset, almost like, always staying curious and like always appreciating the process, essentially,
Yeah.
Like it's like, I'm always someone that's curious. Like I'm always thinking, and I'm always dissecting things in my head and trying to figure out problems. So to kind of instill that, and always, the more people you can inspire, the more greater things can be done in the world, the way I look at it. And, through weather stuff, it's been kind of a unique way to kind of go about this, and particularly my angle in engineering, and Connor's angle also being in engineering as well. So I don't know. It's just been something really fun. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was just
No worries.
kind of came to my head.
Oh yeah, go ahead. We're your host, co-host combo.
Right.
I interrupted you,
No,
so you
that's
can
fine.
interrupt me.
No, it's fine.
But I presume this is coming out after the video gets released, but we can talk a little bit about it maybe if you want to. I mean, it's the second part in the or second installment of the damage analysis series.
Yeah, and
which,
this has been something that I've I'm really starting to think is going to be a main focus point of the channel, and like a main in series. I guess a main series that's going to be here to stay for a little bit, because I think the unique perspective that we have as engineers is going to provide some really cool insight that a lot of people aren't going to be too familiar with, I would say. Particularly because, everybody has these crazy obsessions with damage, I feel like. So for me to put a little bit of context behind it and kind of show the math and how the science actually works with, like material science and like dynamics and stuff like that, just to kind of put into perspective just how powerful, and put some numbers behind more than just a wind speed or, a picture of a concrete slab at the end of the day. So this second installment is of the Parkersburg EF5, which is a notably extremely intense tornado that devastated the southern part of Parkersburg, parts of New Hartford, Iowa, and further east as well. So, yeah, that's a fun video. And I did a calculation of a basement wall that got compromised. It was an exposed basement wall, and I calculated out that the wind speed needed to cause the mortar to fail, holding the wall together, was around 270 miles per hour, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, it's an idealized scenario, so if you're interested in that kind of thing, go check out the video on the channel. I'm assuming if you're here, you know about the channel, right? So definitely watch that, because that's kind of the direction that I feel like we're gonna go in for this next while. Is we're definitely gonna still do our usual like video essay type videos, but also have this series where we can really break things down and provide stuff to tornadoes, damage analysis and stuff, provide our own unique perspective.
Yeah. Also, with previous videos before, so instead of just talking about the present, let's talk about the past. We've gotten quite a few successes over 2022 in terms of videos.
Yeah.
Firstly, I wouldn't say that the damage analysis series really counts as 2022 because we posted it in 2023. But there's quite a few that really worked out pretty well. The underpass video.
That's, I think, my favorite video that I've ever made.
Yeah.
To put it simply, I think that's my favorite video that I've made, I think.
Yeah, also, I believe the enhanced Fujita scale also was...
That one was very successful. It still is. Both the enhanced Fujita scale and the overpass video still get bumped in. I mean, granted, this is relatively speaking, so I think the last I saw the EF scale video has like just over 7,000 views, I think.
Yep.
And then I think the EF scale video has like 3,000 something. Or the underpass video has 3,000 something.
It has 4,000 now.
Oh, okay. So, those videos keep getting bumped every once in a while, and, finding some weird YouTube algorithm. So, like I said, I mean, a couple thousand here and there, like, that's not, I would say, it's not like it's a viral video by any means, but it's still really cool to think, because, like, the way I look at it is like, okay, like, 7,000 people have watched that EF scale video. That's like the size of like filling like an AHL rink. The way I look at it, like if they, we live obviously in Western Massachusetts. You have the Springfield Thunderbirds here. The Mass Mutual Center where they play, I think, is a 5,000 seat arena. So we would overfill the Mass Mutual Center, and I mean it's no small building, that's for sure. So like to kind of think that so like there's been 7,000 people approximately. I mean obviously there's some people that have watched it multiple times, but to see that the whole place kind of in my head just kind of picturing okay, like this amount of building of people have watched that video is really cool in my eyes.
Yeah, and I also like to see it as a stepping stone as well. So like 5,000 is a stepping stone to 10,000.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
25,000, and then that leads up to 100,000, and then that's when you start going viral and start getting that even more exponential growth. And I think I took a look at your subscriber graph from quite a bit ago, though I'm not sure how it is exactly right now, but we're already starting to get into that exponential curve or parabola.
Yeah, the thing
But-
is though is that I think that's because like at the start of the channel there wasn't really a content strategy, where now there is. And I think the content strategy started about a year ago now at this point. I think March of 22 is when I really said, okay, we're going to focus on videos from here on out. So, and that's when the podcast dropped off too, pretty much, because we had an upload in February, because I was doing one like roughly every 2 to 3 weeks, and then it kind of stopped until we interviewed Marcus in the Plains. And that's the other thing too, I think, that I'm just going to add to. I think in 2023, I'm going to try to get a couple more people to meet within the Plains, and we'll have some chats with some chasers out there in the Plains.
Yeah, maybe
not a chaser chat though. That's strictly Gabriel Harbor's deal.
Speaking of, we gotta see if we can get.
We gotta
Gabe
plug
Harb-
him. We gotta plug Gabe. He's the best right now when it comes to chaser interviews. And I would say the dominant podcast in terms of just one-on-one chaser conversations, which is cool. I mean, obviously there's the podcasts like Stormfront Freaks and the Tornado Trackers, but I think their podcasts are a little more rounded in the sense that it's more weather in general, whereas I would say Gabe's stuff is strictly chaser / creator one-on-one conversations with people in the weather sphere online. So that's been cool to listen to those episodes and kind of see his stuff grow. And thank you again for having me on, Gabe, by the way. If you're listening to this right now, Connor would like to be on as well.
Maybe after I get a job.
And you'll probably hear as well. Well, not even that, but it's just like, it'll be funny too, because you can hear stories from Connor's perspective, and Connor obviously has a much more different perspective as I do, and Connor can throw me under the bus all he wants. So
Yeah, I'll be shaming you sometimes.
yeah, I mean,
and I'll be shaming myself too. No worries.
Yeah, deservedly so. So I just wanted to point them out. But nonetheless, if we have the opportunity to talk to people, I mean, we kind of just do unstructured conversations with people. The Marcus interview was pretty fun because it was pretty loose flowing. We didn't really go in with a script or anything. We just kind of just talked. And so we'll be looking to do maybe some more of that in the Plains this year. Maybe organize some things ahead of time, hopefully, depending on where we all end up in terms of target areas and such.
Yeah, and maybe we can get even some old people or older, like people who have been on here previously. That's what I should say.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
For sure.
we don't. We can do regardless of age level, but what I meant to say is people who have been on here before. So Thomas Nepshield specifically, we've ran into him on so many occasions when it comes to being on a chasecation.
Yeah,
and we can sit down and do a live interview with him as well, even though you've already done one with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Already.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the podcast is just like an informal arm, I would say. I mean, I would say some of our previous episodes had definitely some structure, but at this point, I just like talking to people, and it's just cool to kind of record them and, just kind of put them out there. And if people want to listen, they can listen, kind of thing. So, going back to videos that we made last year, I would say some of the other ones that I really enjoyed making. I think the radar video was really fun to make. I keep saying, I'm really sorry. I say it all the time, I realize, but that's because I have, a lot of thoughts going through my head right now. So, anywho.
That's me too, to be honest. But yeah, you said, radar. Any others that you see as maybe a little bit underrated in terms of view count, but ones you really loved?
In terms of underrated, I think the campfire video is not getting nearly enough love. That one I really enjoyed making, just because of the fact that I think fire weather is extremely underappreciated. And the campfire, just like the whole story behind the campfire is just incredible to me, because it's like you have this fire that just sparks one morning, and by the end of the morning, an entire town is just completely gone. Like this whole 10,000 square miles are just like scorched in the matter of hours. Like that's inconceivable to me because like tornadoes and stuff like that like are like a lot easier to picture in the sense that it's just like, okay, you know, you have like this condensed damage path. Hurricanes, even, you know, obviously hurricanes produce a wide array of damage, but just with fire, it's just so crazy to me. It's just hard to fathom just how large some of these fires get and just like the right situation. And also the thing too with the campfire in particular was the negligence side of it on behalf of PG&E's maintenance of their service towers. So that's a video that I wish kind of got a little bit more love, but you know, maybe one day it'll pop off in an algorithm or something. Some videos tend to do that because I have a video from like 5 years ago, the Winter Ghost video, the story of the Conway, Massachusetts EF1. That video had sat at 100 views for 3 years, and then all of a sudden it like the algorithm picked it up and it's now got like 3,000 views. It's like crazy how that video just like shot up for no reason. The viewer graph on it is hilarious. But yeah, that's one video I would say was underrated. What was your favorite video this past year?
There's quite a few of them that I really enjoyed. I would say probably the Levees one was something that was probably underappreciated.
Yeah, I think that one's been gaining a little bit more steam too, I would say. I think that one's starting to, because that one sat at a pretty low. Yeah, the Levees one was fun. That one I really started like I started getting really into making my own graphics and stuff. Like I made my own New Orleans map and stuff and got in heavy to making the graphics, and that's kind of the feel that this channel has now is like, you know, these little like cartoon animations and stuff that I like making. So yeah, that was a fun video to make.
Yeah, and also how to storm chase in the Northeast.
That was the one. That was my test video. So that was the one that was. I was like, okay, I want to see if I can do this like animation style thing. So the how to chase in the Northeast video was the video that kind of test out, because I had the idea for the EF scale video. That was the one that like really I wanted to start off this content strategy with, but I wanted a warm up video just to kind of see if I could make it work, and it worked.
Yeah.
It was good to have a warm-up video, that's for sure. So I'm glad that I had that warm-up video so that the EF video could do really well, which it has.
Oh yeah, certainly. Also, I think the 200 Storm videos didn't really get a lot of the love that it really deserves, considering.
Oh, how much time they take to make? Yeah, it's a lot of footage to go through. That's the thing with those. It's not like they're not hard to make. They're pretty easy to make actually, but the amount, just like having to go through all of the different camera angles and just have hours and hours and hours of storm footage is just kind of a pain.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part. It's just going through like a bunch of boring hours and trying to find all the fun parts. So that's that. Maybe if we saw like a really crazy tornado, those videos would pop off more, but the Tohono Storms series is less, it's just kind of more for fun, if anything, I would say.
Okay, yeah.
It's just a supplemental thing, because I think the educational videos are kind of the bread and butter of the channel at this point, I'd argue.
All right, let's move on. So we kind of did a recap of 2022's videos now. So after I interrupted you, or before I interrupted you, you want to talk about what was going on in 2023?
Yeah, so with 2023, obviously videos, we're still going to be working on those as well, but I want to try to expand some of our efforts as well. Like I said, like a couple more podcasts when applicable. And then also I want to do more engineering work again. I want to pick that back up again since it went way to the back burner in 2022. So I want to get back on the horse in terms of our engineering efforts, and kind of support those things as well, because I think those will make good videos. Maybe they won't perform super well like the educational videos have, but at the same time, I want to start documenting the research stuff that I'm really passionate about, and try to make some meaningful contributions for not only weather but just to inspire people as well, with the STEM side of the equation, and kind of show the engineering side that goes into, maybe some remote weather sensing and research stuff in terms of the probes we used to do with the aerial supercell measurement system. So that's kind of something that I really want to pick back up again in 2023. We'll see if my schedule allows for it. I mean, obviously, I have a hard time balancing my personal life with my work life with the June 1st life. Like, those are three things that I have a delicate balance of, and I feel like I've got a good, healthy balance right now between the three. But ultimately, I want to keep growing the channel as well to a point where I can become a little bit more confident in that becoming almost like a supplemental stream of revenue potentially once we hit the watch hours requirement, so we can start self-funding our projects and I'm having to pay less and less out of my own pocket and kind of actually grow June 1st's business side such that it enables us to make the engineering goals more achievable, since obviously it's expensive for parts and labor and stuff like that, and we want to deliver a good product. So yeah, the content is kind of the vision right now in terms of getting June 1st to a point of being sustainable, because that's an end goal that I want to do. There's nothing more that I would like to do than to be able to do this in terms of both engineering and video work full time. So by any means necessary, I'm going to keep working on stuff in the part-time that I do dedicate to June 1st in order to further that goal so we can get to a full-time type of schedule, I would say.
Yeah. Our main mission is, first and foremost, to use engineering to get more understanding of severe weather.
Yeah, that was the original goal of June 1st, and it's like I feel like it's grown way beyond that at this point, but we want to return to that basis too.
Yeah.
And to do that, that's why, like, it's kind of this whole vision that we have, and that's why I kind of wanted to do this podcast today, just to kind of spell it out to you, just if you're an outsider looking in and you're at all interested in what we do at June 1st, you know, we want to be kind of transparent that, you know, yeah, as, like, I don't want it to sound selfish in the sense that, you know, this is like what I want to do. Like, I mean, if you have like a dream, if you will, right, to do something, you're gonna put as much effort into it as you can to make it true. If you're really passionate about it, and I feel as though that I'm really passionate about it, and you know, with the help of Connor too, we have a goal in mind to try to take this thing to the next level. So we've been pouring our heart and soul into it over the past almost year now, I would say, of real hard work on the video creation side of things, and that's all in an effort to carve out the vision that we have for June 1st as a whole.
All right. So we've got our foundation starting to set up with our sort of our content creation platform and our sort of community that we have finally been starting to build up.
Yeah. So
to make sure that we're, you know, stable, and to make sure that when we go big with our creations and our engineering work, we don't, you know, fall flat.
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly. So yeah, and the tough thing is it's like we're a very niche subject matter, but I think the greater goal of the STEM outreach kind of stuff with the videos and stuff, we think we can hit a wider audience with that in such a way so that it'll allow us to kind of pursue the avenues that we wish to pursue further. So that's kind of the idea there. And what was I going to say? I had something to say. I forget.
Is it about, what was I saying before? Something about community?
Oh, yes. That actually reminded me. Connor is running the June 1st Discord server. So if you want to join that, reach out to Connor or me, and we'll get you in.
We could put an invite link into the show notes.
Yeah, we can do that too. So we'll do that as well. If not, you can always reach out and we'll point you in the right direction on how to join the server.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure our Twitter account has it, has the link posted.
Yeah, I should also put it in the link tree too. Yeah, so anyway, with all that said, I think we've kind of come full circle. I think we've hit all the things we wanted to talk about today. What do you think, Connor?
I think that's everything.
Yeah, so thank you very much for tuning in and listening to this State of the Junion. Maybe we'll do one of these once a year just to kind of, you know, cue people into where we're at. This year will be the 5th anniversary of June 1st, believe it or not. June 1st started in the summer of 2018, where, kind of the progression of June 1st has been, the summer of 2018 was kind of establishing the brand. 2019 was the year of the initial prototypes of the Tornadic inflow measurement probe, and then also kind of doing like the chasing side of it and stuff. 2020 was like refining the brand a little bit more,
We started
doing more chasing.
We had our first hits.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like kind of like a growth period. 2021 was a major focus in terms of getting out to the planes and the development of the aerial supercell measurement system. And then this past year, 2022, has been full steam ahead with content creation on the YouTube platform primarily. So with that said, 2023 looks to be a great year, and with the momentum that we've had over the past couple months, it looks really promising, and I'm really excited for what lays ahead. And Connor has been a huge help as of late as well, particularly with the community side of things. So if you want to stay informed on what we're doing, Twitter is the best place because, the timely nature of tweets and stuff, that's the best platform for weather, in my opinion, because you get real-time updates and stuff. You get the chronological timeline. It's the one place that still has it. So you can follow me at eMoriartyWX. You can follow Connor at CMoriarty79. We have the June 1st Twitter account too, June 1st WX. First is spelt out as always. And with that said, you can find pretty much anything from those places because we have the link trees to all the websites and stuff like that. So with that said, any closing notes, Connor, from your end?
Here's to 2023. The El Nino hopefully gives us a good storm chase.
Yeah, that hopefully a good plane season would be quite lovely for us, I would say.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.
Have a good one.